there. So the other day I got a question from someone that was basically asking if some sugars like honey or maple syrup were better than others. Actually, she was asking, can I use the honey I use in this particular tea while we're doing our sugar reset? Because right now I'm running a free 3-day sugar reset to get, kind of like reset for the new year, because we go through all these we eat a lot of things that maybe aren't our usual thing, and we kind of like start in this downward slope to get addicted to sugar. So anyway, I've created like a guide with some sample menus and a whole bunch of recipes and some support to get you through the first 3 days of kind of getting back to normal or hitting the reset button. So you can sign up for that. It's just started today. You're not late. It's okay. You can join now. It's www.foodfixeseverything.com, and you can get on that way. So in the spirit of talking about sugar, I brought some snacks. And if this is your first time joining, my name is Krista Bigler. I'm a DIY dietitian, which just means I love collecting tools to like bring to you ultimate health and happiness, basically. So about sugar and maple syrup. Are they better than regular sugar? Hey, Kelsey. Well, I sure think they are, okay? But it doesn't mean that I'm like gonna slather them all over things all the time, okay? These are just some of the more preferred or favorite sugars that I have in my kitchen, but I want to go over some of the differences because they're not all created equal either, okay? So I want to mention some issues in these arenas, okay? So before I go into sugar, I want to get back to the basics of what it's for. So of course, sugar is a carbohydrate, and we use carbohydrates for energy. Okay, so the issue is when we're not like using our energy or we're not moving, then we don't use the carbohydrates we intake. And so what happens to them? Like our body can only digest so many at a time. Blood sugar raises. It can cause mental fog and different things. And then basically you kind of just store that as calories, which kind of turns into fat, right? So it's a carb. We're supposed to use it for energy, but we kind of end up doing a bunch. So I just want to like go over like how does this fit into everything? Okay, so honey and maple syrup are legit real foods from nature. They're if you get them unfiltered, unprocessed, yeah, they do have like mineral, or they have benefits. Well, that maple syrup is minerals. So I commonly use maple syrup in place of brown sugar in certain recipes, and honey in place of other sugar a lot in recipes. That said, I don't bake, so don't take, concrete baking advice from me, but they work like as sweeteners and other things. They still do raise blood sugar, but they don't have like the same type of glycemic index. They don't raise it quite as much as regular sugar. But here's my general rule of thumb. If something's bleached or whitened, then it's pretty stripped of minerals, okay? So kind of apply that to your same situation when you're doing anything, okay? So nutritional quality of honey varies a lot by the source. So right after this video, I'll post a link that shows you this article where the FDA tested lots of honey and found whether it had any pollen or like was authentic or not. Okay, so there's a whole list of like brand names of honeys that they didn't find any pollen or no authenticity in. So when you're looking in the store, and I noticed this in the Walmart the other day, they had like a raw unfiltered honey on the shelf. Honey, honey producers or apiaries will tell you like that honey has been known for like great benefits for lots and lots of years, but when you filter it down and strip it of its good stuff, then you don't always get those same benefits. Okay, so you're looking for like an unfiltered honey. So if it looks like it has the viscosity or the texture or of corn syrup or something, is really clear, then maybe stay away from that one. Go with like an unfiltered honey, one that looks like it has impurities. That is like the good stuff. Okay, so I will post that link right after this. Some studies have shown this is not like licensed to go like just put it on everything, right? But they've shown that like honey may improve cholesterol and biomarkers of inflammation. So CRP, basically, it's a blood marker of inflammation. So that is a good thing. And then I've seen and it has antioxidants in it. Antioxidants are those things we have fruits and vegetables, right? That reduce like aging, wrinkles because of free radicals. I have a different video on that. And then we have seen there are like some other things that show it could be helpful in wound healing and like skin repair. And I've seen we've run experiments on this at home as well, and it has worked. So yeah, honey has some benefits both topically and in your food. So I do think it is much more superior than whitened, bleach, stripped sugar. So I always go with like the unrefined sugar, because if I'm gonna get any sort, it's not a necessary thing, but if you're comparing apples to apples, is one apple a little bit better? Yeah, this one's a little bit better. Okay. So it depends on the environment that it's harvested as well. You know, like depending on what kind of thing the bees had access to. So, you know, if you can go to your local apiary, that's going to be best. Or if you can get, or when I post the follow-up link, I'll give you a couple other ones. There's a particular brand, Manuka honey, that is really, it's really supposed to be like a great, it's measured for its antioxidant value and its beneficial properties. So if you're lost, you can always go with that one. Okay. Maple syrup is one of my favorite sweeteners. I use this in replacement of brown sugar a lot. It has some good mineral properties. Not as much research as I'd like out there on maple syrup. There's some studies that showed like it inhibited, you know, certain cancer cell growth, which is opposite of what most sugar does. So I just think it's like much more natural. Your body seems to metabolize it better and use it better. It doesn't raise your blood sugar quite as much. That said, it's not like, you know, health food either, but it is delicious. And I have a link. So the nice thing is, you know, where you're sourcing your ingredients is important, right? And I love to like get stuff from a local person if I can. And so I have a maple syrup guy in Minnesota, and if I could, I'd totally plant a maple tree, but it just doesn't work here in the Dakotas. So I call a guy and leave him a voicemail. He sends me 3 of these in a flat rate shipping box, and I'm happy to give you his number after this video as well, in case, you know, that's kind of your style, that's kind of your style as well. So they're if you go with like the very unprocessed versions of, you know, real maple syrup straight out of the tree, they boil it down to evaporate the water, and that's all they do for maple syrup. And then this one, oh, I was going to mention about honey. You know, one of the things with raw honey, to be raw, it needs to be heated not over 140, I think it is. And then some of those beneficial enzymes will be preserved in there. And you want as many enzymes as possible. That's like the whole benefit of like raw fruits and vegetables, raw foods. You want as many enzymes as possible because that helps you with like digestion and like every other process that happens in the body, basically. So that's kind of one of the reasons you go with this, okay? So I hope that was helpful. I hope that kind of answered the question. The woman who was wondering if she could use the honey in her tea, you know, I gave you guys a recipe maybe at one point for turmeric or golden tea. It's an anti-inflammatory tea, and in the actual paste where you're mixing it with turmeric, you use like a raw honey, and you don't want to overheat it, and then you use it and mix it with coconut milk to make a tea. And she's gonna continue doing that because we felt like the health benefits outweighed any negativity there. So like I always kind of use that as a guiding rule too. Like, was my health benefit outweigh, you know, the negative? Then we're good. So love our good, like, wholesome local honey and maple syrup. And as soon as I jump off of here, I will post the links for where you can get some of these. And if you have any questions, as always, post them below. Let me know if you have any other topics you want me to cover. And if you want to join the 3-day sugar reset, do it. It's foodfixeseverything.com, and you'll get a guide with like 20-some recipes, 3 different sample menus, and the accountability group for it's really happened. It's just a week and you're not late. So feel free to join us if you want for that. And thanks for joining Kelsey and Cassandra, and I'll talk to you guys later.